What's going on, everyone? Disk and Young here, and today we are going to discuss something that pretty much every single rich person would tell you is the key to being rich and becoming financially free, and that is savings. Now, Warren Buffett, possibly the greatest investor of all time, has said this about savings, and he has throughout his entire career been a big proponent on savings. He had this to say: "Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after savings." I think that's a great motto to try to live by. And when you really look into savings, it is crazy how little Americans save overall. When looking at America, we see that we just don't save very much and we get very caught up on a lot of spending. I think this is a perfect example right here is 1 out of every 3 Americans don't have any money saved for retirement. Now, granted, let's even go further than that. Maybe you're not even at retirement age. Maybe you can't even think about retirement yet. The median amount of savings that someone in their mid-30s has is less than $5,000. I'll repeat that again. The median, meaning the middle, half is lower, half is higher, is $5,000 for saving for someone in their mid-30s. That is absolutely crazy. That is one accident away, one bad thing going wrong in your life before you wipe out your entire savings. The first thing to do when you start to get serious about savings is looking at what you're spending, and you have to first cut spending. That is the only way to first really be able to start getting serious about your savings. So what you should do is go through your expenses and get rid of the things that you don't necessarily have to have. Now, this could be anything from maybe you share a Netflix account with somebody else. Maybe you don't need cable for a little bit of time and you're okay with just a couple streaming sites. Maybe it's making food at home rather than doing DoorDash every other night. There is a million different things that you can find when you're really looking through your budget, and you should have a set number what your spend is every single month, and you should be able to dwindle that down so you're spending less every single month on things that you don't necessarily need. Once you have cut your spending, what you need to do next is start to build an emergency fund. You don't want to be stressed out if your car has one little issue and you're not able to make your mortgage or anything else because of that. So the first thing you need to do is start an emergency fund. I would suggest 4 to 6 months of whatever your monthly amount that you have to have is, and 4 to 6 months should be your emergency fund amount. And what I also suggest doing on this is having this in an account that's not a part of your regular banking account. So you should find a bank that maybe is just online or somewhere that you don't normally bank with, and don't have any credit cards or debit cards or checks associated with this account. Just have it in an account where you don't see it very often, but you know it's there if you ever truly need it. That way you can transfer it over to your other account and it can be your emergency fund, but it's not something that you're going to be tempted to dip into if you didn't need it. Now, once you start your emergency fund, you can either do one of two things. Some people like to do 50-50 for starting their investment accounts and their savings account, or you can do fully just right into your savings account, get that built up to your 4 to 6 months that you need, and then you're okay. Or you can choose to invest 50% of the savings that you have and the other 50 goes towards your emergency fund. The reason we start with investing early on as well is not only is your returns going to be much more throughout time, but also it helps with inflation. The only bad thing about savings and having cash on hand is when the inflation is going up, like we're seeing in this economy right now, your money is going to be worth less just sitting in that account, not getting hardly any interest at all. So I suggest either doing a 50-50 until you hit your reserves number, or just spending all of it to get to your emergency fund number. And once you have that, then you can turn and start doing your investing. If you know yourself and you're going to have trouble saving, what you need to do is automate the process. The best way to do this would be to automatically have part of your paycheck go into that separate account that you have established, and that way you just never even see the money and it's not on you to transfer it over there every month. Most employers are going to be able to allow you to have your direct deposit or your wire for your income go into part of it into a separate account. The other thing I would suggest doing with this is really taking advantage of your 401k matching program if your company has that. This is basically free money, and it's a way to get way ahead on your retirement savings, or just savings in general, is maxing that out every single month. And that way, once again, it is an automated process and you don't even look at it. The next thing I would also say is if you don't have a 401k matching program, or you want to do something more on top of that, if it's not a very large matching program, would be to start an IRA and have that automated and have that money coming out every single month and just automate the process. I think when it's really hard to take the money when it hits your account and transfer it over, you have to automate your processes. Last thing that you can try to do is be following the 50-25-25 rule. Now this is a pretty cool rule, and there's a million different ways out there that you can implement this. But I really like the 50-25-25 rule. And this is 50% of your income should be for your needs. This is anything you can't live without. Your insurances, your mortgage, your rent, food, as long as it's not in excess, anything that you must have to live on. The next 25% of your income is going to go towards wants. This is more your fun things, your entertainment, the things that really do bring you joy and fill up your life overall. You need to spend some time and money on that overall. Just make sure it's not in excess. So 50 for your needs, 25 for your wants, and then the last 25 is going to go to your savings or your investments. Now we're going to talk in later videos about how you can maybe break up this 25%, but I think it's critical, that especially in the beginning, to have a separate account set aside where you're putting 25% of your income coming in and making it a priority to have savings for retirement and investments in that bucket. And this is a very easy and simple way to go about it. This also does go back to, you have to have a budget in place. So you have to know what your monthly amounts are and then your income, and you can break it out throughout that, just whatever works for you. At the end of the day, savings is just so critical to get you ahead in life, and it's something that's so easy to start, especially when you're young, but really at any age you can do this. But if you're younger, really make it a discipline to start this habit early, and you'll be so ahead of life in the end when you actually start to do this. When you talk to any wealthy person in America, they're going to say the number one thing they did was live frugally and save a lot of money in the beginning. That is really the key, and that's why I wanted to make this really quickly to show you that it is such a critical thing and it's not enough people talk about it. So I hope this helps. Comment down below what you'd like to hear next, and give me a follow or a like. That would be awesome. And until the next video, thank you guys very much.